Hello there and welcome to the Bible in 5 with Reverend Ray. We're on a Bible study lesson series on the book of Revelation. We're on part 8, chapter 8. So please turn to Revelation chapter 8. Verse 1, when he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about a half an hour. This is in reference to chapter 6 when God has a scroll with 7 seals in his hand, and the Lamb Jesus Christ opens these 7 seals. He opened the first 6 in chapter 6, and the last 7th seal he opened now in chapter 8. And I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and the 7 trumpets were given to them. These 7 angels, I believe, are the 7 spirits of God that we find in chapters 1 to 5, the 7 spirits of God. Alright, so he gives the 7 angels 7 trumpets. Another angel who had a golden censer came and stood before the altar. The golden censer is what they used in the temple. It was what the Catholics still use in the church today. It's a golden censer, and it has incense that comes up from it. And then let's just go to verse 5. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and hurled it towards the earth. And there came peals of thunder, rumblings, and flashes of lightning, and an earthquake. So the one angel in heaven takes a golden censer, fills it up with some fire from the altar, and just hurls it towards the earth, and there we got thunder and rumblings and flashes of lightning and an earthquake. All right, and then the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared to sound them. The first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down to the earth, and a third of the earth was burned up. A third of the trees was burned up, and the green grass was burned up. So the first trumpet was sounded. These are the trumpet judgments of Revelation. The first one sounded, and what it was hail mixed with fire and blood, and this was hurled towards the earth and burnt up a third of the earth. And this was literal. This is not a figure of speech. This is not symbolism. This is what physically will happen. Verse 8, the second angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a huge mountain, all ablaze, was thrown into the sea. And a third of the sea turned into blood, and a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships was destroyed. So you're a huge chunk of land, a huge mountain blazing on fire gets thrown into the seas, and a third of all the seas turns to blood. The creatures die, and ships are destroyed. So these are really, really bad times. And yet they call this the lesser tribulation. Tribulation means bad times, trials. Verse 10, the third angel sounded his trumpet, and a great star blazing like a torch fell from the sky on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The mountain, blazing mountain of the previous verse, was thrown into the seas, like the oceans and the seas, and this was thrown into the rivers. Verse 11, the name of the star is wormwood. It means bitter. It's a bitter substance. A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that had become bitter. So this third angel sounds his trumpet, and a star, a meteorite, a cosmic body, astronomical body, falls to the earth and falls into the rivers and makes them all bitter. Verse 12, the fourth angel sounded his trumpet, and a third of the sun was struck, a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of them turned black, or turned dark. A third of the day was without light, and also a third of the night, because the moon and the sun was affected. So this is pretty bad. Also the fourth angel sounds, and all of a sudden a third of the sun and the moon and the stars are darkened. So very dark times ahead. Verse 13, as I watched, I heard the eagle that was flying in mid-air. There was an eagle that was flying around, and he called out in a loud voice, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, because of the trumpet blast about to be sounded by the other 3 angels. So that's the end of chapter 8. These are only the first 4 trumpets that were sounded, and this is really bad enough. It starts with the hail and the blood and fire, then it's the great mountain into the seas, then it's a star that falls into the rivers, and then it's the darkness of the sun, moon, and stars. And that's only the first 4. So there's still 3 to come, and they're going to be much worse than those ones. So please join us next time for Part 9, Revelation chapter 9. God bless you. Be inspired and blessed, and be transformed by God and the power of His Word. Amen.